Welcome back. I'm Cody, the Rad Retro Dad, and today we're going to be setting up light guns in TeknoParrot using a standard Wii Remote.
He's the Rad Retro Dad.
Alright guys, if you've been following my Wii Remote light gun series of videos, welcome back. Hopefully you find some good value in this video as we go over the settings in TeknoParrot. But if this is your first time joining us, welcome to the Retroverse. And hopefully we can get you guys set up to use your old Wii Remote as a super accurate arcade light gun. I have been making videos showing you how to set up your Wii Remote as a light gun in multiple different emulators. This video is obviously about TeknoParrot, but I have done a whole bunch of other videos on other emulators as well, and the link to the playlist is in the description. And then, as always, I kind of want to go over some prerequisites with you guys. Now, if you guys have already watched my other videos and you want to jump straight to the tutorial, there's a timestamp in the description. All right, now there are several prerequisites for this tutorial. One, you have to have a Windows PC and a Windows PC that is capable of running TeknoParrot games. Now, that doesn't mean that you need the biggest, beefiest computer out there. My setup here is only running an Intel dual-core processor, and it's running an NVIDIA GTX 750 Ti video card, which I think you can still get those video cards for around 30 bucks on eBay. So it's not that you need the top of the line. You just need to have one good enough to run TeknoParrot. And you can go out and you can do research on what the most ideal hardware is for TeknoParrot if you would like. Second, you need a Wii Remote and you need a nunchuck to plug into the bottom of it. And third, you need to have a way of connecting your Wii Remote to your PC. And the way that we accomplish this is either via Bluetooth, so you can try and connect this Wii Remote to your Bluetooth adapter that's already built into your computer, or you can do what I do, which is, in my opinion, the easiest method is you can buy a wireless sensor dolphin bar. Mayflash makes this, and it's a fantastic product. There's going to be a link to it in the description. I won't rant and rave about it too much. I bring it up in every single one of my videos because I believe that this is the easiest method of connecting your Wii Remotes to your PC without headache. And fourth, if you are using a Bluetooth adapter to connect your Wii Remote to your PC, you're also going to need a USB Wii sensor bar. I'll leave a link in the description to one. The Wii sensor bar is that little bar that came with the Nintendo Wii that sits above or below your monitor. But if you're using the wireless sensor dolphin bar, it's already got a sensor built into it. It's an all-in-one device. And fifth, you need to have a TeknoParrot game to set up on your system. And I can't tell you where to go and download TeknoParrot games, but do a Google search and you'll figure it out. All right, once you have all those prerequisites, we can now jump on the computer and start the tutorial. All right, guys, so here I am. I'm on my home arcade computer, and we are on the TeknoParrot website, which is right here, and everything that I talk about will be linked in the description, so don't worry about it. Once you're at the TeknoParrot website, go ahead and click download, and it's going to bring you to this page here. We're going to click this top option, the blue download TP bootstrapper web installer for TeknoParrot. Now, just note that this does require .NET 8.0 runtime. So if you don't have that, or if you're unsure, just go ahead and click that. And we're going to download the Windows x64 version. And it's going to download. And once it's done, go ahead and open it and install it. Now, if you go to install this program and it says that you already have it installed on your computer, you're good to go. All right, then we're going to close that, and then we're going to go back to TeknoParrot website, and now we're going to click this blue link at the top, download TP bootstrapper. We're going to click that. This is a zip file, and you're going to need a program to open it, such as WinZip, Zip7, or what I like to use is WinRAR, and I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. All right, let's go ahead and let's open this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder for this on my desktop, but you guys can put this anywhere you want on your computer. So let's go ahead and let's go new folder, and I'm going to call it TeknoParrot. Let's open that up, and we're going to extract these files right there. Now, you have to put these files into the folder that you want this program to live in, because it's going to install it right in the same folder. So now we're just going to double click the TP bootstrapper, and it's going to pull up these two windows here. This window has a lot of information, but the only thing that we need to do is click full install, download all. So go ahead and click that and let it do its thing. Now, what this program does is it will download like the legacy version of TeknoParrot, but then it will automatically update it. So you don't have to worry about manually updating it after it's installed. It'll be installed and updated all in one convenient install. And this install will take a while, so be patient. Okay, after it's done installing, you're going to get this window here. Seems like this is the first time you are running TeknoParrot. Please set emulation settings. Just click OK. TeknoParrot UI collects usage data to improve software by continuing. You agree to our privacy policy. Hit OK. And then here is their privacy policy. You guys can read through it and see if you agree or not. After you've read through it, go ahead and hit accept. You may have to hit accept a few times. There's a lot of agreements. And now here it says you have no games set up. Do you want to add one now? Now we're going to say no at this point, because I want to show you guys how to do this inside the program, because you're going to have to do it every time you add a game to TeknoParrot. So go ahead and hit no. And then there's going to be like a little setup wizard kind of a deal here. We're going to hit next. So then it wants this data/XML file containing game verification data. All we're going to do is we're going to hit this download latest data/XML. And then you're going to be brought to this website. Now there's a ton of information on this website. You don't really need to worry about it. Just go ahead and just scroll all the way to the bottom. I mean, just keep going until you get to the end. And once you get there, you're going to have this. And what we want is this top one, the TeknoParrot Collection 2026 419 ROM Vault. So we're going to click that. And it's going to download. And again, it's a zip file. You're going to have to unzip it into the folder. All right, once it's done downloading, go ahead and open it. And we're going to bring up our TeknoParrot folder. We're just going to grab the two folders and we're just going to put them right into our install folder. And now you can see that they're right there. So we're going to close this, and I'm going to shrink this down, and we're going to hit browse. So now we're going to navigate to our TeknoParrot install folder. We're going to go to the TeknoParrot collection folder, and in there will be a TeknoParrot collection data file. DAT file. We're going to select it and hit open. And now you're going to click next. Now, when we get to scan for games, TeknoParrot can automatically scan your games, but I've never really gotten this function to work all that well. So I suggest let's just skip game scanning. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to skip game scanning? Hit yes. Then it's going to say configure controls. Again, we are going to skip this because in my experience, every game sets up very different. So we're going to skip this. And again, it's going to say, are you sure you want to skip the setup? Hit yes. You have no games set up. Do you want to add one now? Hit no. And now TeknoParrot is set up. Now we just got to add our games. So what I like to do is in your install folder, create a new folder and name it ROMs. I know that these are not really ROMs, but it's just easier for me to just call them ROMs and do it that way. So go ahead and create a folder called ROMs in your install folder, double click it and put your game in this folder. As you can see, I have a game in here called Transformers Human Alliance. By putting the ROMs folder in your install folder, it just keeps everything all together in one nice package on your computer. Once you've created your ROMs folder and you've put your game in the folder, let's go back to TeknoParrot. Now, the way that TeknoParrot works is you've got to add each game individually. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click this little hamburger menu. So we're going to add a game. Now, this is a whole list of games that TeknoParrot supports. And I do want to note that some of them, like here, the Angry Birds Arcade, this is a newer game that's been added to TeknoParrot. And you'll see that it says subscription. Now, you can subscribe to TeknoParrot and get all the latest new releases early. But eventually, all releases do come to the public access for free. So we have put in our folder Transformers Human Alliance. So we're going to scroll through this list until we find it. I want to also note that you can sort this by genre. So we're going to click that. We're going to do shooters. It'll bring up all the light gun games that TeknoParrot supports. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to choose Transformers Human Alliance. And we're going to click Add Game and Return. And so now you'll notice that we're back to the main screen and we've got Transformers Human Alliance right there. So if you click the hamburger menu and you hit check for updates, it will start checking for new updates. TeknoParrot may or may not say the update available, but if it does, we're going to go ahead and we're going to install it by clicking the hamburger menu. And now a new option has appeared. Install updates. So go ahead and click that and you can see that there's one update and just hit update and it will download it and automatically update any outdated files. And note that TeknoParrot will close and then reopen and you're going to get this. Now, if you want to become a subscriber, you do get the added benefit of getting early releases of games. And sometimes it can take months for a game to come out of subscription, but eventually they all will. I'm just going to click continue without supporting. Now that we have TeknoParrot all set up, we're going to set up Gunmote. This is the Gunmote download page. It will give you the latest and greatest release of Gunmote. Gunmote is the program that makes your Wii Remote super accurate, and it's near arcade accuracy. And like I said, I did a whole video on how to install and set this program up, and I would highly suggest you watch that. Just go ahead and download the latest version of Gunmote, which is the very top one. At the time of recording, it's 1.1.0.9, and you'll notice that they have now added a little thing here about the Mayflash Dolphin Bar, which tells me that they're going forward. They're going to be supporting the Mayflash Dolphin Bar even more, which is great because, like I said, the Mayflash Dolphin Bar is the easiest way to connect your Wii remotes to your computer. So anyways, scroll down to where it says Assets and you're going to download Gunmote. I just want to note here that if you're using the Edge browser and you're downloading Gunmote, Windows is going to flag this program. It's going to say Gunmote isn't commonly downloaded. Make sure you trust Gunmote before opening it. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click those three dots and click Keep. And then it's going to give you this window. Just click down here, this little arrow next to Delete, and hit Keep Anyways. And download the program. It doesn't mean that Gunmote is a malicious program that's going to harm your computer. It just means that Windows doesn't recognize this program. It doesn't know what it is. And once it's downloaded, you go ahead and you open it, and Windows is going to argue with you again. It's going to pop up this blue window, which you may or may not have seen before. But basically, again, it's just saying, hey, we don't know what this program is or what it does. It may or may not harm your computer. It won't. So what you're going to want to do is you want to click More Info and Run Anyway. And let's just follow the instructions in the setup. First, you're going to select your language and hit OK. Then click Next. Then click Next again. And Install. And it's going to install Gunmote onto your computer. Okay, this is kind of important right here. At the end of the installation, Gunmote is going to want to install a couple drivers. First is the Wii Remote driver, and then the next one is the VIGEM bus driver. So we need to install these drivers. So click Finished, and it will first install the Wii Remote driver, and the window will look like this. All you need to do is click Install, and your computer is going to go a whole bunch of times. And once it's done, you may or may not see these removed here. That's, I'm guessing, because I had this driver already installed on my computer. But what you want to do is you want to scroll down and just make sure that it says driver installation successful. If it says that, you're good to go. Go ahead and close this window. Next, it's going to install the VIGEM bus driver. Go ahead and hit Next. And if your computer already has this installed, you're going to get this. You're just going to hit Repair and then hit Repair. Otherwise, hit the Install. Now, you may or may not get this notification. If you get this notification, regardless of what it says, it basically just means that your computer either has it installed or your computer doesn't need this driver. So go ahead and click Abort. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. And click Finished. It will work regardless. And once you're finished, Gunmote will automatically start. This right here is kind of a get started video that you can watch. This is new with this this version of Gunmote. And you can watch this video if you want. It's pretty informative. But we're just going to click the arrow to shrink it down. And now here we are with the Gunmote main program. This is what it will normally look like. At this point, you want to get your Wii Remote and your nunchuck and connect your nunchuck. Some people say they don't have to connect their nunchuck to their Wii Remote for this, but for me, I have to have my nunchuck connected to my Wii Remote or else it won't work properly. Mainly, you will have some weird side effects like inverted controllers, like up is down and down is up and left is right and right is left. It's kind of crazy, and a lot of people have had this issue. And if you just connect your nunchuck to it, you don't have any issues. And then the next thing is you want to make sure that your dolphin bar is set to mode 4. And you accomplish this by clicking the mode button on top of your dolphin bar and just click it until it goes to mode 4. If your dolphin bar does not go to mode 4, it just means that you need to update the firmware of your dolphin bar. I will leave a link in the description to the firmware update, and it's super easy. All you have to do is make sure that your dolphin bar is connected to your PC, and you run the program, and it will automatically install the new firmware. All right, once you're in mode 4, you need to take your Wii Remote battery cover off the back of your Wii Remote and press that little red button right there, and then hit the sync button on top of your dolphin bar. And your Wii Remote will connect to your dolphin bar just like it would a Nintendo Wii console. And once you have that light on player 1, you are connected. And as you can see, Gunmote automatically connected to my Wii Remote once it was connected to the dolphin bar. Now, I'm not going to go over every setting in Gunmote. Like I said, I did a video about that already. But we do need to check one setting in Gunmote. So let's click Settings. And we want to pay attention to this section right here, Aim Configuration. And what this is it's telling Gunmote where the position of your sensor bar is. Just like setting up your Nintendo Wii console, you have to tell it whether your sensor bar is at the top or bottom of your screen. And in my case, I have my sensor bar situated at the top of the screen. What you're going to do is you're going to want to click this arrow here, and you're going to see 4 different options, but we really just want to pay attention to the top 2. So the top 2 say 2 IR. These bottom ones say 4 IR. The difference is your standard Wii sensor bar has 2 infrared sensors. So 2 IR means one sensor bar with 2 infrared sensors on each side of it. The 4 IR means that you have literally put an IR sensor in all 4 corners of your screen. I did a video demonstrating how to do this, and it's in the playlist that I linked below. But for simplicity, we're just going to use one sensor bar for this video, and we're going to identify whether it's on the top of the screen or the bottom. Mine's situated on top, but if yours is on bottom, choose bottom. I'm going to choose top. And then now we're going to click this arrow back, and now Gunmote is set up. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to calibrate our Wii Remote. All right, to calibrate your Wii Remote, all you need to do is hit your plus and home button at the same time and hold it for 3 seconds, and you will get this overlay on your monitor. At this point, all you have to do is follow the instructions on the screen. But I want to note that it will show you targets in the center and on all corners of your screen that you need to shoot, and you need to shoot them 3 times each. So to start the calibration process, just hit the trigger on your remote. What you want to do is you want to be standing back at least 6 to 10 feet, depending on how big your TV is. And the bigger your TV, the further back you have to stand. So now we're going to be as accurate as possible. We're going to look through the sights of our gun, and we're going to aim at each target. So that we're going to start with the middle one, and we're going to shoot it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now the target has moved to the bottom right. It's a little hard to see, but it's there. Aim at the bottom right corner of the screen and shoot that target 1, 2, 3 times. And now we're going to follow that same process for the rest of the corners of the TV. We're going to go to the top left, 1, 2, 3. Top right, 1, 2, 3. Bottom left, 1, 2, 3. And now your gun is calibrated. What you want to do now is you want to look down the sights and move it around the screen. And there's a cursor on the screen, and you want to make sure that it's staying relatively in the center of your gun. I think you'll be surprised how accurate it really is. Some people complain about the input lag, but I think that's purely visual. Once you're in game, it seems to not be any problem, at least for me. So if you're happy with your calibration, you can hit the A button on your remote to finish calibration. If you're not happy with it, go ahead and hit the minus button, and it'll start the calibration process over. So I'm pretty happy with this, so I'm going to hit A. And now your gun is calibrated. Gunmote has multiple profile settings that you can change on your Wii Remote, which will allow different kinds of inputs, such as Xbox inputs, just Wii Remote inputs, or mouse and keyboard. By default, it is set to mouse and keyboard, and we're not going to mess with that in this video because we just need the default settings for this tutorial. Okay, now that we're calibrated, let's jump into TeknoParrot and finish setting up our game. So we have our game. We're going to go ahead and we're going to set this up to work. So we're going to click on Game Settings. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we want to find this file right here. So we're just going to click right there on that, above that line. And it's going to be like, okay, go find it. So if you move it down, you can still see what that is. So we're going to go to our ROMs folder, and we're going to go to our game folder. Now, some games, it is plainly obvious where this exe file is. And for every game, it is different. It's named something different. Just to make sure that we're getting the right file, I like to go up here to search and then just type it in. So we're going to TF_gun_R_, and you can see that it pulled it up right here. So go ahead and click it and hit open. And the reason I like to search for it is because some games it is buried inside those folders somewhere, and you could spend a lot of time just going through different folders trying to find it. But just by searching for it in the search bar, you can just pull it right up. Okay, so now these settings are the game's control settings and different things. So you can do a lot of different options here. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that the input API is set to raw input. It should be by default, but if it's not, change it. So free play is exactly what it sounds like. You don't have to put money in to play. You just have to hit the start button. If the settings support free play, make sure that it's checked. And then this one, windowed, we want to uncheck that because we want our game to run full screen. We have other options. Like if you are using like a more expensive light gun that supports force feedback, you can actually enable force feedback for your gun. And using Gunmote, you can actually add rumble to your Wii Remote, and it's really awesome. Okay, then the rest of these settings, we're not going to worry about them, and we're going to hit Save Settings. Now we're going to go to Controller Setup. All right, so arcade games have several different inputs that you may not need. So like for example, we're not going to worry about the service buttons. We can always come and program them later if we find a situation where we're going to need to go into the service menu, but most of these games you don't need to. And then coin. We don't technically need to have a coin button for this game because we set it to free play. But again, it's always nice to just have it set up just in case. So what I like to do is I like to set the coin buttons up to the plus and minus button. So we're going to click coin 1 and we're just going to press the minus button. And you'll notice that it registered as an input here. I want you to note that this code right here is coded to this Wii Remote. So your second player is going to have a different code. And then coin 2, plus button. All right, the start button, I program it to be the same as your fire button. So everything is controlled right through your trigger button. All right, now where it says player 1 light gun, this is your mouse input. And what you want to do is you want to hit this down arrow and you want to choose the input for that has this code right here. And you can see that it's right here, virtual multi-touch device. And just make sure that the codes match, and that's it. You don't have to program it, the access and different things on this one. And then you're going to want to do the trigger. So we're going to go player 1, trigger. And then trigger 2, I like to do it to the nunchuck right here, the Z button, when you're selecting the light gun. All right, once you have your controller set up, hit Save Settings. So that was set up for Transformers Human Alliance. Now, each game sets up slightly different, but it's basically the same process. The main things that you're looking for in your game setting is your exe file and to make sure that your input is set to raw input. But all the controls, they kind of map the same, but some games have different controls than this game. And that's it. Now you just follow the same process that I went through for this remote for player 2, through calibration through Gunmote and through setup through the controls in TeknoParrot. And you can set up player 2. It works exactly the same. You just got to make sure that you choose player 2's code when you're selecting the light gun. Just experiment with it and see what controls work for each game. Once you have your game set up, we're just going to simply hit the play button. And then it's going to go through its boot up process for the game. And while that's happening, I'm going to pull the camera back and jump off the computer to show you guys how this works. Now it's time to test the game, and I'll show you guys that this is really pretty accurate. I've actually played this game several times in a real arcade, and this feels pretty close. The only difference is the kind of gun that you're using. So let me demonstrate some gameplay for you.
Get out of my way! We need your help!
Alright guys, thanks for joining me for this tutorial. Hopefully that helped you set up your Wii Remote to function as a really accurate arcade light gun in TeknoParrot. Now, if you've had any issues with this tutorial and your Wii Remote is just not working the way that you want it to, first try uninstalling and reinstalling Gunmote and rebooting your computer. If that does not work, leave a comment below telling us as much detail as you can about the issue that you're having, and give us some specs like your PC specs and if you're using a Dolphin bar or a Bluetooth adapter. And we'll do the best that we can to help you out. Okay guys, until next time, remember, stay rad and stay retro.